we have a brand new set of Vulnerabilitea House cards.
The Vulnerabilitea House, Volume 2.
New design, new box, all new questions.
When was a time you genuinely needed help? Were you able to ask for it? The answer is right now in my life. Like I am officially completely burnt out at the moment. I just don't know how people can help right now. That's like, I think now, but I don't know how people can help.
Do you think you're maybe not the best judge of how you could be helped?
The Imperfects invites you into a very safe place. A place where we share without judgment and drink heaps of vulnerability. Grab yourself a cup. This is the Vulnerabilitea House.
It's day 2 or episode 2 of 3 of this celebration of our brand new set of Vulnerabilitea House cards. The Vulnerabilitea House 2.0, new design, new box,
Volume 2.
all new questions. I'm just leaving time for the echo to reverberate through the room that we'll obviously put in post. Post. This is, so you might, if you've just tuning in for the first time, I'm Ryan. And we have this set of cards, the Vulnerabilitea House cards, which have been available for years now on our website and at live shows. And on all those cards are different questions that we give to guests, and guests answer them and tell vulnerable stories and things about their life. And we've finally released a second set with all new questions. And so we the three of us, over these 3 episodes this week, we're each going to pick a card each episode and see what comes up.
Yeah.
And actually, while we're talking about the brand new volume, where can you buy these?
Yeah, you can buy at theimperfects.com.au. You can buy these, and they will be sent to the address that you nominate. It's e-commerce. Yeah.
Okay. I believe it's my turn.
I believe it is.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as is customary, Hugh, you pick 3 cards and read them out. And if one of those cards sparks some sort of memory or a story about your life, and you feel comfortable sharing it, then do. If none of them do, you can just keep picking cards until you like one.
Okay, so
what do you got?
The first 3 cards I've got here. The first one is, when was a time you genuinely needed help? Were you able to ask for it? That's the first one. The second one is, when you were a child, were there any emotions that were not acceptable to display? And the third one doesn't have the Imperfects branding underneath it. It has teacher's consent.
A few of the cards are collaborations with teacher's consent.
Yeah, which is great. Growing up, where did you encounter violence? Was it condoned or unacceptable?
That question, the 3 of us all answered in like an episode, which was another imperfect chat about men. There's actually, we did 8 digital cards, 8 digital Vulnerabilitea House teachers consent collaboration cards, and some of those are in this new deck as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the one that I'm going to go with the first question, because again, like you said, Ryan, with yours, that as soon as you saw it, you felt really nervous. So I'm going to go with, when was a time you genuinely needed help? Were you able to ask for it? And I guess before I say anything, I just want to acknowledge that there are far worse things happening around the world right now, and I'm vastly aware of that. I guess I'm just sharing what's happening in my life, because I realize there might be some other people out there who are going through something quite similar. And it also will, I think, provide a little more context to your when you spoke about in your card, was you were worried that you weren't there for me this year or during this year. And so, yeah, the question, when was the time you genuinely needed help? I think the answer to the question is, I don't really know if I need help, but I need to tell you guys this.
Mm.
And maybe helpful come from, I don't really know, but like the answer is right now in my life. Like I am officially completely burnt out at the moment. I've been burnt out twice before, but never like this before. And it always happens at the end of the year. But at the Resilience Project, we have monthly staff meetings. At the end of the staff meeting, we get 3 staff to sit up the front, a bit inspired by Ben Shuri's what he does at Attica, where he gets his staff to share stories from their life. We were inspired by that. We did a similar thing. It's been an incredible way to connect with our staff. And one of our amazing team members got up and said that a long time ago, like 10 years ago, she would drive to work and she would sort of fantasize about being in a car crash. She didn't want to die, but she would fantasize about being in a car crash so that she could go to hospital for a couple of months and just lie down and be in hospital. And when she said that, I just thought, fuck, my God, that'd be so good. And I was up there facilitating this conversation, but I got very distracted by thinking how good it would be to be in hospital for a couple of months. Now, I have not once thought to myself, I want to be in an accident. I don't want to hurt myself. I've had no thoughts like that, but I did hear that and think, if something happened to me, I could go to hospital and I could just stop. And
And there'd be a valid reason.
Yeah, I could lie down in bed by myself for a month or two, and it sounded really good. Like that sounds really good to me. And I do need to say here, I'm aware that there are people listening to this who have a loved one who's in hospital, maybe they're in hospital themselves, and it's the last place in the world they want to be. I've been to hospital before. I've spent time in hospital before. I understand it's terrible. I really am just referring to the fact that I would just love so much to be lying down with no commitments for a month or two.
Yep.
And I went home that night and I was trying to understand that. I've never felt like that ever before. Like I felt burned out before and thought, God, I can't wait for the holidays. But lying in bed that night, I was thinking that would be really good to go to hospital. And trying to understand it, it might really emphasize how burnt out I am. And to give context for people, a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff right now, so I'm certainly not saying this is not a woe is me. It's just my reality at the moment. I feel like I have so many full-time jobs. And then, I mean, the big one that everyone will know is just parenting a child on the spectrum it's like a full-time job in itself as a carer, essentially. And anyone with a neurodivergent child will know sleep is one of the things that they struggle with. Our child has developed a new thing where there is about a night a week where they actually don't sleep. Or sorry, they'll go to sleep at 7:30, but they'll wake up at 10 or 11 and will literally not go back to sleep.
Wow.
Or the other day we didn't go to sleep, like actually didn't go to sleep at any point. And so there's a whole night a week where Penny and I are not getting sleep. So there's that. We crammed a lot into the first half of this year for the podcast because we have a live show coming up. And so we went really hard up until the end of May before we went on a production break. The Resilience Project has got 40 staff now. It's a huge, huge commitment for me. We are now in a position where we've just moved house, which everyone says is one of the most stressful things you ever do. We've got to do it 3 times before Christmas. We're moving 3 times. That's a long story, but which I won't go into now. And on top of those 4 things, I went through something in June, which I've never experienced stress like it. So I remember just lying there in bed and I looked up the symptoms of, I know I've talked about it before on the podcast, but I looked up because things are feeling really off. Like things are feeling really off for me more than they ever have before. And I looked up the symptoms and there were 7 symptoms that came up in the first search that I did. Not to say that it's an exhaustive list, but I just ticked them so comprehensively and so quickly that, yeah, I've realized that what I'm experiencing is just an extreme level of burnout.
I thank you for sharing that. I have to say I'm not surprised at all. Hearing you say the thing about the car crash is confronting, but I know you well enough to know.
But I haven't been fantasizing that.
No, I know you well enough to know that what you're fantasizing is lying in a bed and doing nothing. And that just seems like a valid way that you get there where there's no guilt associated with that. It's I know that it's not like anything to say the words. I know. Well, actually, I should ask you, but it's not anything suicidal or anything like that. No. But watching you go through what you've had to go through, and we had a few conversations about stuff here and there, but then also seeing the person you are at the moment, it's not as what you're saying is not a surprise to me at all. I feel like I don't know anyone who's trying to hold so many balls in the air, and I don't know if this is fair, but it seems like trying to do them perfectly as well, like trying to be the perfect of everything. But
also like and not wanting to let anyone down.
Yes. Yeah. And it's really hard to watch because I don't know what the answer is because it like they're all I don't maybe we haven't spoken enough about workshopping what can be done and to ease the burden and ease the stress a little bit, but I don't know where the where the easing can happen either.
Yeah.
Hearing you say that, like Josh said about the hospital, it feels really dramatic, but I know what you're saying. It's like removing the choice. It's like you don't want, it's like it's out of your hands kind of thing. But I also think it will be really helpful to go through these symptoms because even though we've spoken about burnout before and it's a word that a lot of people use, I can imagine people hearing the term burnout and going like, oh yeah, well you're working too hard, or yeah, we all get a bit busy, and it feeling a little bit more trivial than it actually the reality is.
Yeah.
So
Like
I
might just go through them and just give you examples just to give greater context to them.
Yeah.
So I've got the notes on burnout here. Okay, so the first one, which sounds like an obvious thing, but just constant exhaustion. But when I say constant, it's like there is no point when I don't feel, there's nothing I can do to make me not feel completely exhausted. So both physically and emotionally. So when I get home at the end of the day, I sit down, I just can't get up. Like there is so much to do in a house with 3 kids. It is so hard to get up once I've sat down. And like in the morning, so for the most of this year, I've been getting up an hour before everyone else does in the house and doing things that I know really help me and my brain to function for the day. I can't get out of bed anymore. I just cannot get out of bed. And I'm sure because we've moved into a smaller place at the moment, I'm in a bed with Elsie, so we're sleeping in bed together. And I just can't get up. Everyone gets up and starts the day, and I just cannot. I find it so hard getting out of bed.
There are some times where, and there are times when my partner Jam, when she's like really down or anxiety or depression has like taken hold, and all of the like, it gets to a point sometimes where it's like all the self-helpy things, all the tools, they just don't work.
Yeah,
it's just it's just like there are some points where it's like you can go like, okay, do this technique or this meditation or breathe, and they can be really great, but sometimes when it's really extreme, it's like
it's a big jump to get to because at the start of the year I was like, I'd wake up and go, oh yes, I get to do breath work and I get to cycle, and then I get to do the podcast, I'm going to do some exercise at 7 at work, and everything was exciting, and now I just lie there going, what's the point of getting out of bed? Nothing is going to make me feel good today.
Yeah,
I don't understand why I would need to get out of bed. So constant exhaustion is the first one. Withdrawal. So like this happened this morning. I was at the gym this morning and I was getting changed and my phone was sitting on the bench next to me, and a guy walked past and he mistook my phone for his and he took my phone, and I knew it was my phone. And I honestly felt like, oh my God, that's great. That I don't want to be contacted. Like if he takes my phone and leaves and doesn't realize till he's got home, no one can contact me. No one's gonna know where I am. I didn't tell him. Like I didn't say that's my phone. I was so relieved to see him take my phone because I didn't.
Wow.
Like my phone rings and I just don't answer. Like it's too much. And there's so much important stuff that needs me in my life right now, needs me to pick up the phone. But I look at a number and just go, no, I can't talk. I don't. I'm so withdrawn. I love saying hello to strangers usually. I love smiling at people when I walk past them. Or I just have my head down. I was walking my head down everywhere I go. A loss of motivation is the next one. So still willing myself to the ass track and to the gym for my running. I sit in the car for like 30 minutes. I cannot get out of the car. I just sit there just like with no motivation for it. Running fast always makes me feel good. But I just like to get to that point. I was like, I have no motivation for it. I sit in the car and it makes me feel worse and worse. Next one's irritability and negativity. This is such a weird thing, but like I had a lot of driving to do yesterday. And when I have a lot of driving to do, I was listening to music. I don't like music at the moment. There's no music I can find that I like. Everything and every bit of music annoys me. Like it's just, it's such a strange thing. And I know when I'm the opposite, when I feel really good and rested and happy, I give everything the benefit of the doubt music-wise. No matter what comes on, I'm like, yeah, I can get why people like this. Some people like that. I don't, but good on them. And well done for the person who wrote this.
Oh, Jojo Siwa. Yeah, I'll listen to that again.
I don't know who that is, but
yeah, but it's for people who do. Okay. It'll work.
Okay, well. Struggling to focus is the next one. I had to send a message yesterday. I had a really, really important meeting yesterday, really important with someone who'd done a lot of work to get us to prepare us for this meeting. And then I had to send a text message to two people in the meeting yesterday to apologise for my lack of, I didn't bring anything to the meeting. In fact, it was probably obvious that I was just, both of them wrote back saying, yeah, I was wondering what was going on. I thought you weren't happy with something we'd said, or I couldn't actually focus on what was happening. Then there's like, the next thing after struggling to focus is physical warning signs. I've been fighting off this sickness for the last 5 weeks. I'm just never healthy at the moment. I know it happens to a lot of people in winter, but I just can't. I just feel like I'm always a little bit sick at the moment. So my body's not coping. And the last one is reduced sense of accomplishment. We had that amazing research come out of the Resilience Project, which I've talked about way too much. But I've almost, rather than being like celebrating, going, that's amazing, I'm so proud, I felt angry about it. Like, as in like, why is everyone so fucking surprised? Like, why is everyone going, oh my God, that's amazing? No, it's not. I've been doing this for 15 years. Like, I'm getting angry about it rather than just going, yeah, this is such a great thing.
Yeah.
And so I read those 7 things and thought, yeah, like I'm just so burnt out. But like it was funny when Bridget came back from her trip, like I just absolutely blurted all that out to her. So this is not new to Bridget at all. She's heard all this. And amazingly, Bridget's like, well, let's work something out. There's got to be stuff you don't have to do. Let's go through your calendar and work out what, and I said, yeah, leave it with me. I'll go home. I'll look through my calendar and I'll work out what we can take out. And there was nothing. I looked at him and there's nothing I have to do everything that's scheduled for the rest of the year here. I can't not do this. And I'm actually not, it's nice what you said before, but I've given up on perfect a long time ago. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to get through it all. I mean, it does feel great to share this with you guys now because I guess you guys have awareness of it, and it makes me realise I need to tell Penny this, and I need to communicate with the leaders at the Resilience Project. Penny is always so good when I come to her with this stuff, and the Resilience Project, I mean, I'm very proud of the way that we look after our staff, and there's so much, I know they care about me so much, and I know that they'll be incredible as always. But there's some really, really important stuff here, and I don't understand what I'm meant to not do. I can't see what I can't do. Like I can't see anything where I go, yeah, that. I mean, if I do that, we take work stuff away. I'm still in the relentless activity of parenting a neurodivergent child, like which is it will go through stages, and they're doing really well at the moment, but it's still absolutely exhausting. And so, yeah, when was the time you genuinely needed help? I just don't know how people can help right now. That's like, I think now, but I don't know how people can help. And I'm also so conscious of the fact that I'm saying all this with some really horrific stuff going on around the world, which is far more awful than what I'm going through. But were you able to ask for it? I don't know what I'm asking for. So
that's such a interesting part of it is like, how, if you can't see how someone can help, then you can so understand why you just wouldn't bother asking for help.
And I also, to add to that, I also think Penny is, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I feel like she's also completely exhausted as well with everything that we've been through. And so for me to have a rest
puts it on her.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
her life harder, and I don't want to do that. So it's just too much. Everything's just too much. Yeah.
Can I don't know if this question will come out right, but do you think, having read all the list and thinking about the place your brain is in at the moment and your body, do you think you're maybe not the best judge of how you could be helped?
Yes, probably. No. So, no, I'm probably not the best judge.
Yeah. I don't know who is, but when I've felt a lot of those things that you're talking about. I think I've probably never been as burnt out as you are now, but I've experienced different mental ill health that has forced me to see the world in many of those ways. And I think it is very hard to look at your life objectively and find solutions when you're in that mindset. And I think I'm happy to try and help to be the person, but I'd just like to put the idea in there that maybe the help is working out how to help, if that makes sense, with a bit more clarity and objectiveness, because I don't think you're in a state to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably true.
I mean, Bridge is here, as she is every episode. Bridge, do you remember what that conversation? I was going to say, do you remember that conversation? Of course you would. But do you remember?
Gone blank.
No, I can't remember anything about that. But yeah,
He was whinging about something.
do you remember how that conversation was, like, and how Hugh was when you spoke to him?
Yeah, it was hard because I think we'd all come back from production break. All of us have had really amazing, lovely holidays and are feeling really creative and inspired. And then to find out your colleague, your business partner, podcast host is not feeling like that and actually feeling really bad is really hard to hear. And I think my immediate reaction was, okay, we need to make sure that you're doing less. Just hearing how much you've been going through and hearing the burnout in your voice, my immediate thought was, you need to take some time out of the podcast and maybe we replace you for a few episodes until you've actually had a break. And with the live shows upcoming, like maybe we look at postponing them or we get you out of the podcast so you're okay to do the live shows come sort of October, November. And then we chatted again, maybe half a week later, and we looked through the calendar. And I think when you get really granular, it's really hard to think about what you can pull yourself out of. And I'm really conscious that I know the podcast is one place that brings you so much joy and has often been like a bit of a reprieve from how difficult life can be in other areas. So I'm conscious of making that call on your behalf as your colleague and business partner, because I don't want to take away something that actually is maybe filling up your cup. But when I hear you say all of this, like in that chat we had and now on the podcast, my immediate feeling is like nothing here is so important that your health, and your well-being matters. That's the thing that matters most. This will go on and it'll be here when you're ready to come back. Like no one's going to replace you. But yeah, hearing what you're saying, my feeling is that like something's got to give.
Yeah. My assumption is Hugh was like, I'm not taking any time off the podcast.
Yes, that was yes. My first thing is that the live show is like the light at the end of the tunnel to me at the moment. That's the thing that we get there. So if you bought tickets, the show will definitely be happening.
Unless it's like me, Josh, and Mel Robbins on stage.
Let us.
Don't let Hugh.
Don't let you.
Yeah. Even just hearing that you can not do things is very helpful. Like that even makes me feel a bit more relaxed about the world. That it is possible not to do stuff that you think it's impossible not to do.
Yeah.
I think it's almost impossible for you to make that call about taking yourself out of the podcast.
Yes.
And that's amazing. If the live show's the light at the end of the tunnel, like let's work towards that being you being like in a really well place to do that. But between now and then, like maybe it's on me, Josh and Rai, to go, we have to bench you for a little bit.
I'm going to keep you in for now.
For the rest of this episode?
For the rest of this episode, yeah. But then, mate, if you're not performing, I'm calling Mel. You are such an empathetic person, and you do give people the benefit of the doubt. But do you think, and not that I've noticed anything, but I can only imagine, because this happens in me whenever I'm feeling down or burnt out, my empathy levels do drop a bit, and I have less patience to give people the benefit of the doubt?
Yeah, well, very sadly, with the people who wear that is my kids,
Mm-hmm.
because the other thing that I forgot to say in the first point around burnout was the exhaustion. I mentioned the physical one, but the emotional exhaustion is like, one of our kids right now is really struggling with transition. So that's like mealtime or putting clothes on or getting in the car, getting out of the car, like really struggling. And they've been through this stage before. I would just sit with them and be so patient through it, understand that they don't want to be going through this, but I would sit with them and I would continually tell them how much I love them and put up with whatever they were saying to me in that transition. So it's going to take an hour to maybe get out of the car or get in the car. And now I have zero patience, like not even 2 seconds patience. I'll just grab them and force them into the car, or I will just say, you're not eating, and that's fine, and storm off. And that's my most important job. Like, it is my most important job as a dad. And half the battle of being a really good parent, I think, is patience. And I don't have any.
Mm.
And I don't have any to give to the people who need it the most right now. And that's a really sad consequence of all this. The place I find myself in right now is that if my kids were asked to describe me right now, they'd probably say, he's really angry. And I'm not an angry person. I never have been. But that might be how they describe me.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we will chat more about it off air, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's lots to talk about.
But I'm so glad you spoke about it, because even though it's not necessarily surprising to us, it's almost like talking about it, not even on the podcast, but even if you said to us, "Hey guys, can I have a chat to all of you? I need to tell you this," because most people don't have a podcast. So it always feels very dramatic to call people in for a chat, because everyone's like, "Oh shit, what's happening?" But it is worthy of a meeting.
Yeah.
Like a chat, and it feels scary, like you said, like when you saw the card, it's like, that's scary to talk about out loud, but I'm just so glad you said it. It's like you're making it official. It's like you've called the press conference and you've said, "Hey, I know there's been rumors flying around about my burnout. I just am here to tell you all today that the rumors are true." and that is not always necessary, but sometimes maybe it is.
Yeah.
And I it might be true that all those big things can't be moved, but us knowing, and I think for anyone out there, the people in your life that love you, knowing just means that maybe there are lots of little things that we can do throughout the day where we might have initially put more pressure on to get something done and go, actually, I don't need to put the pressure on there. I can do it a different way, or I can just be a bit kinder to you in certain situations. The accumulation of a lot of those little things, it will help, I think, and it's good for us to know. And so I guess it's a plea out there for people who are feeling like you to tell the people in your life that love you, because things might seem immovable, but there are lots of tiny little things that'll add up.
Yeah,
that can
that's
be
true.
done.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Hugh, thank you. It's such a big thing to talk about, and it's like it's the biggest thing in your life, right now. But we're all here for you.
Thank you.
And we love you.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you. After recording this episode, we had a chat as a team and agreed that Hugh should take some time off the podcast to focus on his mental health. So over the next few months, there'll be just a couple of episodes you'll hear that won't have him in it. The Imperfects is not a licensed mental health service and is not a substitute for professional mental health advice, treatment or assessment. The advice given in this episode is general in nature, but if you're struggling, please see a healthcare professional or call Lifeline on 13 11 14.